Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skyazrael.com for life coaching and mentoring. What makes life so crazy, so complex? For some people, not all, some people really feel like these days that life has gotten really complex, really confusing, overwhelming. There's so much going on. You get pulled in so many different directions, told what to do. There's so many different kinds of rules, mountains of rules, layers of rules. And just to go through our day, it feels like we really have to struggle to keep it together. I don't know what you feel like at the end of your day, but sometimes it feels like to me that I just barely made it through. So when you feel overwhelmed like this, therapists and coaches and mentors and these types of people, philosophers, psychologists, whoever, your best friend may tell you, well, you got to simplify, man. When things get too crazy, when things get too complex, you have to simplify. That's why when your room gets too cluttered, you got to clean it up. What are you actually doing? Well, yeah, you're compartmentalizing things, organizing things, but you're simplifying. When you clean up your house, you have a more simple house, a more orderly house, an easier to deal with house than when it's all cluttered and there's shit everywhere. And life is like that. We constantly want to simplify things. We have a natural tendency, just as biological creatures, to block out a lot of what we see and hear. Our senses block out a lot. If you were to hear everything that's going on around you, it would almost be too much. I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. It would just be too much noise. You have to pinpoint sound. Same with your eyes. You know, our eyes aren't on the side of our head like hammerhead sharks. They're straightforward. And we pinpoint. We miss out on a lot that's going on around us. That's on purpose. So you don't freak out, so your mind doesn't fall apart, so you can maintain, so you can get from point A to point B without going crazy. So we have a natural tendency to want to simplify things in order to understand things. If you have a complex math problem and you want to understand it, you may have to simplify it. So what are the things that make life complex? Well, interestingly enough, it's basically all of society. If you want to simplify and if you want to make life less complex, what would you do? Go for a walk in the woods, maybe go to the beach. That's where I'm going to go later today. It's going to be 80 degrees here today. The corporations, your job, all the shopping choices. We live in a corporate world. Your house may have been built by a corporation. Your job is a corporation. Every bit of food that you eat comes from a corporation, is grown and sold and distributed by corporations. Every single thing that you do all day long is engaging with corporations. And they've made life complex. When you want to make life less complex, what do? You leave town, you go get your tent and your sleeping bag and you go camping or something, right? Well, what are you really doing? You're escaping the corporations. You don't go camping out back of a Walmart. Some people do. You know, Walmart parking lots are quite dangerous. People live in those parking lots. Walmart refuses to do anything about it. But most people go camping in the woods or somewhere cool, away from society. Another thing that makes life complex is the government. It's everywhere, all the time. You pull out of your driveway onto that road, the second you're on the road, you're basically on government turf. The government builds the roads. We have street lights because the government wants to make things easier. The government's purpose is what? To make life better for people, supposedly. And in that process of bettering this hard life that we live, the government overwhelms you with its influence, with its rules, with its regulations, with its order, with its bureaucracy. Another thing that makes life complex is science. Just think about this stuff, man. When you go camping, what do you leave behind? You leave all this stuff behind. Get back to nature to make life simpler. And science has made our lives so easy. We love science. But do you really need it? Do you need to know about the latest vaccine when you're sitting under the stars, down on the beach with your girl? Do you really need to know about the latest breakthrough from the James Webb Telescope? Another thing that makes life complex is intellectualism. Nothing wrong with being smart, nothing wrong with pursuing knowledge, making yourself a better person. I do it every day. But there's a certain kind of intellectualism that runs society that people have to keep up with, that people try to chase, that ends up becoming your master. You make intellectualism your religion, your God. This pursuit of knowledge, this relentless pursuit of knowledge. To what end? What does it do for you? Oh, you're so smart. But what has it really done for you? What's the point? Do you think that the deer and the blue jays and the robins and the beetles out in the woods, do you think they care how smart you are? How many books you read? Oh, you can explain Nietzsche, but squirrels don't care about Nietzsche. Technology, some of you love technology, you worship technology, it's your religion. You can't get enough of it. You think about it, you study it, you love it. It gets just thinking about all the new conveniences, all the new things you can play with, the new toys, what it can do, turn you into a god. It just tickles you inside. The chase of technology is it's an addiction. When you go out into nature, a lot of times you leave technology with you. I'd rather hear the birds chirp than hear what's coming out of the headphones on my playlist. Many of you bikers out there, I'm a biker, you guys want your radios. I'm so sick of your fucking radios. I really am. When I ride my motorcycle, all I want to do is hear the wind and the engine. That's all I want. You guys blast some bullshit classic rock that you've heard these songs 1,000 times. What kind of fucking experience is that shit? You ruin it. And technology can ruin nature. If you're out in the woods camping next to a mountaintop and you hear someone off in the distance blasting their radio at their campsite, it's annoying. You're like, man, shut that shit off. What makes life so complex? Entertainment, downtown sections, things to do. You guys are always desperate for things to do. What is there to do? I'm so bored, I'm so bored. Do animals get bored? We have this insatiable hunger for entertainment, constantly entertained. I find myself chasing entertainment a lot, and I have to slap myself out of it. Entertainment makes you stupid. It stops you from thinking, puts you in a catatonic state. Nothing wrong with entertainment, but you chase it too much and you go stupid. You get to be a dumbass. I think a lot of this boils down to the complexity of life being soured by unlimited choices and unlimited access to stimuli. And that when you want to simplify, you literally make things tougher. A simple life is going down to the creek to get water instead of having a Brita filter or fancy filter in your fridge. A simple life is going to milk a cow for milk rather than going to the grocery store. A simple life is to talk to your neighbors instead of sit in your house by yourself on the computer wondering why you have no friends. A simple life is enjoying what you have rather than constantly and continually, relentlessly upgrading. It's all food for thought.